Nice to see you.
Good morning, Molly.
Hi, Molly. I know you.
Yes.
Nice to see you. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. I feel like I'm with Carolyn. How are you? Okay, I think you're up with that first.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a pleasure to welcome each and every one here this morning to the town of Dover, even in a snowstorm. We all made it through the weather. Want to give a special welcome to all the friends, family, and all the people that traveled so far to get here this morning. And also for the people that got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get this place situated for the governor today, we thank them. We have a lot of things that we do, but as we know, nothing happens unless we have behind us our DPW workers. So the DPW workers should get a round of applause for helping with police and fire. You know, it says it takes a village to get anything done. We're going to attempt to recognize some of our dignitaries. Excuse my voice, I'm under the weather with a cold, but I'm not contagious, okay? So if I mess up your name, please tell me later. To my right, we want to have Senator Anthony Bucco. Would you please stand? And you could stay standing, please. We have a rare done. Thank you. It seemed like I just left these two people last night at a church function, and they're here early in the morning, and Senator Bucco says he's not a morning person to get out of bed.
I don't get up for everybody this early.
There you go. We appreciate that. We have John Crickes as one of our commissioners. We have Congressman Mikey Sherrill. We have Chairwoman Amalia Dorte from the Democratic Committee. Aldermen with us today are Sandra Whitner and Alderman Edward Carrere. So let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. How are you? Thank you, and you may be seated. All right. You know, it's an exciting day here in Dover. On a Christmas snowy day when you all want to be out Christmas shopping, you're in Dover for a great cause, and we are excited that the governor put us on his schedule to come to Dover to bring us good news. Once he gives us the good news, the residents of Dover, with police, fire, the administrator, we're going to be identifying a plan on how to spend money, which we do well. And it's something that we have been working on, waiting on. One of my goals when I took over as mayor in 2020, besides COVID, was to work with New Jersey Transit and our governor to help make sure our streets are safe and everyone can get around and be safe. So with our event here today, we're going to be identifying our traffic lights that don't seek in with all the other lights. Everyone knows what a traffic jam is sometime and you can't move. We're going to be working to improve that. But more importantly, we're going to look for a local bike rack program, because a lot of people ride their bikes and we don't have a bike rack program of any kind. So that would be an alternate mode of traffic for people to ride around in Dover. They ride bikes now, but we want to help them and have a place for them to put their bikes. Also, to work with DOT and the office in town to make sure that when the light turns green, the light is green, it doesn't stay red. This is actually all about safety here in the town of Dover. We're going to analyze through our police department the data on what streets in town where we have more accidents than others. And can we put a traffic light there? Can we put a signal light there? What can we do? This is all about improving safety of our residents here in Dover. When we put our heads together, our brains, and work with each other, good things come out of all the things that we do. I don't need to introduce our governor. He's well known to all of us. He's a friend, he's a supporter, and he gets around like all the rest of us. So we're here today to have our governor bring us good news for our town and our residents. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome for our governor, Phil J. Murphy. Thank you, Governor.
Don't forget your glasses. I need glasses as well. Good morning, everybody. A particular shout out to the first responders, police, fire, DPW, other folks. We're incredibly grateful to be here, particularly in a morning after a snowfall. So sorry to be in your hair, but deeply thankful for your hosting us. And again, good morning to everybody. I want to thank Mayor Carolyn Blackman, more on you in a minute, Mayor, for welcoming me and our team to the historic town of Dover. You mentioned the team that's with us today. It's a star-studded lineup, in addition to the first responders and DPW colleagues. We have a couple of folks I want to give a particular shout out to. One of my colleagues in our cabinet, the Commissioner of the Department of Transportation, Diane Gutierrez-Schichetti. Diane, always a pleasure. I will not make you stand up. Betty Lou DeCroce, who's the administrator here in town, former Assemblywoman. Great to see you, Betty Lou. We also have Deb Kagan, who's the Executive Director of the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition. We'll be hearing, Deb, from you in a few minutes. Great to have you with us. And to the Congresswoman, the Deputy Director, the Alderwoman and Alderman, to the Chair, to our dear friends in the 25th, Tony and Aura, to each and every one of you, thank you so much for so graciously hosting us today. Before we get to the topic at hand and we hear from some of those I just mentioned, two quick unrelated topics. First of all, I was down for the count last week for a little bit, and I want to thank everybody who offered me their very good wishes. I'm in good health, and importantly at this time of year, in good spirits. Secondly, Carolyn, is it accurate? Is this actually your birthday today? Let's hear it for the mayor's birthday. I will resist singing, but.
Oh, you have a nice voice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Someone slipped you a 20 to say that, I'm sure. I did not bring you a cake, but we did bring you some other goodies, as you alluded to. And in that spirit, it is my privilege today to announce the awarding of a total of nearly $25 million in State Department of Transportation grants, specifically targeted at pedestrian and public safety improvements around our transit facilities. Facilities like the NJ Transit's Dover Rail Station, where hundreds of commuters catch trains to work and home each day. These grants are made possible because of a historic investment into these programs through the state budget. By the way, not just a historic investment, an increase of nearly 50% over the last fiscal year. And moreover, these grants mean communities like Dover can undertake important local infrastructure improvements without asking property taxpayers to pick up the entire tab. This means our communities aren't going to just be safer, but we're going to help keep them affordable. So the largest tranche of this bucket of money, these are grants, by the way, some $13.4 million, is coming through the DOTs under Diane's leadership, Safe Streets to Transit program. I also want to give a shout out to my former colleague and Diane's right-hand man, Justin Braz, with us. Justin, nice to see you. Who's standing alongside Assad Akhtar? Who does Penn State have in a bowl? Utah. Okay, let's go PSU. So this $13.4 million is spread across 29 grants that will ensure towns can make access to their rail stations easier and safer, whether it be through new sidewalks and walkways, or lighting upgrades, or changes to vehicular traffic flow, as Carolyn alluded to, around a station. And this is where Dover will directly benefit with a nearly $780,000 award to improve the traffic signals along Blackwell Avenue so that pedestrians, including school children, importantly, and cars, can more safely coexist. So that's the first bucket, $13.4 million. Second bucket, again from DOT, is $2.9 million across 10 communities to help spur smart and effective development or redevelopment at and around transit centers. This is the aim of the so-called Transit Village program, to make access to mass transit easier by getting people to live and work at mass transit hubs. And then finally, the third bucket is 17 awards totaling $8.4 million, and those are being made through the local Bikeway program. This program is geared, pun fully intended, to help communities, making sure you're paying attention out there, folks, to help communities make cycling a more viable and a zero-emission transportation option for residents. So from the creation of new bike paths connecting residents to local amenities, including transit, to widening existing bicycle routes to better promote two-way cycle traffic, this program focuses on making it safer to choose commuting on two wheels instead of on four. There are many reasons why New Jersey remains high on many lists ranking the quality of life across the nation. But surely one of them is the investment that we make directly into our communities. Investments to make them safer, to make them more inviting, to make them more sustainable. Behind each and every one of the dollars we're announcing today is a New Jersey resident who will benefit. And standing at the forefront of these investments are strong communities like Dover, with whom we are so proud to partner to create a better future. Again, I am so proud that we can make these critical funds available, and I cannot wait to see them put to use to improving even further the quality of life of our residents. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Mayor, in particular. Happy birthday. It is now my great honor to introduce an extraordinary fighter for our state in Washington, and someone who Dover is getting to know well as your new Congresswoman. Please help me welcome the one and only Mikey Sherrill.
Well, it's nice to be here this morning and to get a bit of good news. As you all know, it was a tough weekend for me as Navy lost to Army. And for those of you who realize who I represent, Picatinny Arsenal, you know it's an even tougher loss because I'll be hearing about this for the next year. I can guarantee it. So, but it's wonderful to hear this great news and to be here. Happy birthday, Mayor. I can't complain too much because you're out this morning on your birthday, so we can't complain about getting up. But it's wonderful to be here to celebrate this great news with you. And I really do want to thank the governor, our Secretary of Transportation, for inviting me here today. I'm sorry, Commissioner, I'm in the federal, for inviting me here today. As many of you know, as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law, we passed money for safer streets. That was a critical piece of it, and I want to drive that money in to New Jersey. But here today, we're celebrating the state putting money into these important and critical programs. And so you see that this is a whole of government approach that is really, really important as we move forward. And as the governor said, our towns are the lifeblood of New Jersey. Many of our towns, in fact, were built along our rail lines. Most of the towns in my district came into being because of these rail lines and the development around the train stations, the commuter train stations. But something that, so that has always been a really wonderful part of New Jersey is our ability to commute, to have this public transportation. But an area that we have fallen a little bit short on has really been our bike paths, our safe walking paths, making sure that people not on four wheels, not on the train, not on the bus, can really get around safely. And these are the investments that our state's making now to make living in New Jersey even better than it already is. And so I really want to thank all of you. I want to thank people like Deb for the hard work in making sure that we have those bike pathways. I will tell you, I attempted to take up biking myself. At one point, someone had given me a bike with clip-ins that they were yes, Deb, you're right, and it was not good. And there were no paths, and I got up at like 5 in the morning to start biking, and that lasted maybe one weekend. And so now future Bikers Gov can really benefit from these investments and have a much better experience than yours truly. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me here today to take part in this wonderful announcement for my wonderful new town of Dover. Recently in the 11th District, it's really exciting to be here today. So thank you so much. Without further ado, I believe I am inviting up next on the program the Commissioner. Thank you again.
Well, good morning. Governor, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here with you, with Congresswoman Cheryl, with my new friend Deb Kagan. She and I are going to get to know each other real well, and certainly with Mayor Blackman and the residents of Dover. And again, we'll all wish you happy birthday, because a Monday morning after a snowy night on your birthday, you do get extra points for that. The Department of Transportation is proud to support Governor Murphy's vision to make our neighborhoods and our communities safer, fairer, certainly more environmentally friendly for all who choose to live and work in New Jersey. Our transportation network plays a critical role in achieving the governor's vision for everyone. Most people see DOTs as those big entities. We build big bridges and we build big roads. But when it comes to community investment, most people don't look at the DOT for that. Well, the good news is that's what DOTs are pivoting to. We're learning what our role is, not only to maintain that large infrastructure, but to bring our transportation investments down to the community level where they affect people much more directly. No doubt, our big highways will be important to our continued growth of our economic vitality of this state, along with our ports and our transit systems, but our communities are equal to them in the need for investment, and so that is our focus. Again, we appreciate the governor's leadership in being able to secure an additional $20 million for bikeways, safe streets to transit, and transit village grants. This money means not just Dover, but so many towns will benefit from the money and being able to create those bike paths, Congresswoman, that you won't be using, as well as very important walkways, whether they're walking trails or better sidewalks with proper ADA compliance, right? We know that it's important for us to make our facilities accessible to all, and that's where equity comes in. But this fiscal year alone, there are 45 different municipalities that will receive 56 grants. Yes, some got 2. That is correct. It is all about how you apply. All of these programs work together to improve the quality of life for our residents by encouraging people to get out of their cars, walk, bike, and use mass transit. And some people will say, well, Commissioner, isn't that kind of counterintuitive to what you do for a living? It is not. The more we can reduce cars on roadways, the less maintenance we have to invest in, the more room we leave for our commercial traffic to use those highways, the more we are able to make sure that we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So it is not counterintuitive at all to the idea of having a transportation system, an entire system, a multimodal system that delivers good transportation. But just so we're clear, we want to make sure at DOT that you understand the intent of the programs. Safe Streets to Transit provides funding to counties and municipalities to improve pedestrian safety and accessibility within a 1-mile radius of a bus or train station. There are 34 municipalities that have been designated as transit villages. These towns are eligible for funding to build mixed-use development around transit facilities in a way that preserves the community character and creates a safer and welcoming environment for transit users. So the important part of that is it reflects your community, and that's the purpose of the grant, that you're able to invest and build in a way that fits in to the quality of life and the community style that you've adopted. And finally, the Bikeway program provides grants to promote bikeways so that bicycles can be a safe alternate mode of transportation to cars and other, at the moment anyway, emission-based vehicles. We are working very hard to convert those buses to electric, as the governor knows, and that will be a huge part of our success in meeting the environmental mandates that the governor has set forth. All of these programs are meant to provide healthier, more environmentally friendly alternatives for people to get around. In the world we live in today, the most important thing we can do is preserve our communities. Our communities are safe havens for all of our families, for people who to come and not only visit, but who choose to live here. I think the Congresswoman said it best when she said communities are the lifeblood of our state. Having lived other places, I can tell you New Jersey is unique in that it is a quilt of communities of different kinds and urban, rural, suburban, that make us who we are, that develop the character of this state to be a place that is so desirable to live. And we believe by DOTs shrinking themselves down a little and focusing on that community-based transportation that local needs, and I know my new friend Deborah is going to make sure I stay on top of that. We are going to continue to invest in communities and into local transportation needs as much as we can. The DOT today offers a very strong grant program, so for those of you who are not familiar with it, please go on the DOT website and look at our local aid page where all of our grants are available, far more than just these, and please, please, please continue to apply for grants. We like nothing more than to be able to stand here with the governor and talk about the fact that Dover is going to receive not only $778,000 this year, but last year they received just under that. They've received a total of $1.4 million over the last 2 years to help their community grow and be sustainable well into the future. So with that, Governor, I think I get to introduce Deborah, or do you want to do that?
You're the boss.
Oh, can you tell the people at DOT that when we get back? Thank you. So it is my great pleasure to introduce Deborah Kagan, the Executive Director of New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition, and my new friend.
Good morning, everyone. And happy birthday, Mayor. And like you, I'm afraid, in case I cough, I am also recovering, but I'm not contagious, so thanks very much. I'm very excited to be here and honored today on behalf of the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition, our board chair, Brian Stoller, our board member, Essex County Commissioner Brendan Gill. We want to thank the governor, Governor Murphy, and the commissioner, Commissioner Gutierrez Sacchetti. Good, and Diane, my new friend. We want to thank you for this very exciting announcement today, which represents a significant increase for the Safe Streets for Transit, the Bikeway Program, and Transit Village grants. This is over $25 million, as you've just heard, for 56 grants. This is almost twice the amount that DOT and the state has given last year. This is a significant increase in these grants. This funding will advance projects that make our streets safer for everyone, especially our most vulnerable road users, with people who are walking, biking, and rolling, including those using wheelchairs or scooters. And it comes at a critical time of rising traffic fatalities and serious injuries across our state, which only increased, of course, during COVID. During the past 3 years, 612 people, or 1/3 of the people who died on our roads, were people walking or biking. That is why now more than ever, it's essential to ensure safe access to public transit, and that's what some of these grants are going to do, and create more walkable and bikeable roads. These grants will help build a safer and more equitable New Jersey, as the governor has talked about, and reduce greenhouse gases and increase opportunities for active transportation and a healthy lifestyle for our communities. This commitment to building safer streets is in line with the efforts of the Federal Highway Administration, which in response to the national surge in traffic fatalities has endorsed the Safe Systems approach. Now, this approach recognizes that people will always make mistakes, and our streets need to be designed to account for that fact, to effectively reduce traffic violence, and to make our streets safer for everyone. Here in New Jersey, we have great examples, like Hoboken's Vision Zero approach, recognized nationally, which focuses on changes in street design and resulted in 0 fatalities in 4 years in a row. It's a great achievement here and one of the best in the country. Safe access to transit is, among other things, an issue of equity, which also the Commissioner has just talked about. New Jersey has the 3rd largest commuter transit system in the country, and 1 in 10 New Jersey residents use mass transit to get to work. Carless households rely on transit to go to work, to get to the doctor, to go shopping, to get to school. Low-income people in many communities of color have more carless households and have the highest rates of walking and bicycling to work along with using transit. Across the state, in communities of color, 1 in 5 households don't own a car. And in some cities, nearly 40% don't own cars. So in order to get to mass transit, what we call the first and last mile of the trip, people have to use streets. Yet low-income communities often have fewer sidewalks, bike lanes, and street lights than high-income communities, making conditions for walking and bicycling more dangerous. These 29 routes to transit grants will provide needed upgrades to features that are specifically designed to make it safer for pedestrians to reach their transit destinations and navigate between transit stations. Not only will these grants prioritize safe walking and biking and provide more equitable access to transit by giving people safer active transportation options, they will reduce some car dependency, help responsible local economic development, and be a step towards achieving our climate goals. So we know transportation contributes to about 40% of our greenhouse gas emissions, and a great deal of that comes from cars. We know that many car trips are short. For instance, in parts of Jersey City, over half of car trips are less than 2 miles. 3 in 4 New Jersey residents live within 5 miles of a transit station, and 3 in 10 residents live within walking distance. To reach our climate goals, we need to reduce our car dependency making using transit safer, more accessible, and create safe active transportation options for everyone. There is a really growing enthusiasm and demand, I think everybody's aware of, for action transportation options. More people are biking, walking, using scooters and e-bikes and other micromobility devices. And the future will most probably be in even more an increase. So that's why it is critical that our state continue to move forward on this issue. We have to continue to work together, my new friend, and to achieve our goals of 0 traffic fatalities and truly equitable mobility. But today we can say we have taken a great step in this right direction, and we will continue to keep pressing for more opportunities like these to fund much needed active transportation projects across the country, across the state, and the country, until we can guarantee safe and equitable streets for everyone. So I just want to take a moment and congratulate all the municipalities who have received these grants, and we will now have an opportunity to see the results in the safer streets for their residents, and also hope that they will become great models for other communities to apply in the future. Thank you.
Deb, thank you. Alex Altman, I believe the press release is going out as we speak, and it will list all the communities that have won these grants. And again, importantly, Dover is in for $780,000, and there are more in the 25th and more in Morris County. So a couple of quick observations as we break. When I pitch New Jersey, the first 2 words that come out of my mouth are talent and location. Today is all about the location, making our state as high quality of life as possible. I will say, as a point of personal privilege, the end of last week, New Jersey got on a list, not once but twice, for the most tech talent in the country. Both Jersey City and Newark were in the top 5 in the United States, which is extraordinary, and we're building on that aggressively. But today's about quality of life. as Diane alluded to, taking cars off the roads. Deb alluded to this as well. Making life safer, making it more enjoyable, healthier in every respect. And New Jersey, in so many respects, leads the American class in all of the above. The last observation I wanted to make is there's a pretty cool bipartisan group of folks here. So I want to thank folks like Tony and Aura and John. The 25th is one of our great districts. Morris County is one of our great counties. Dover is one of our great communities. And it's pretty cool that we've all gathered around the flag here this morning, and I appreciate everybody coming out. In particular to our legislators, you don't get a budget without it being sent to me and supported by the legislature, so thank you for that. Mikey, keep fighting. I feel badly. I was thinking of you on Saturday. Overtime, no less, which makes it even more painful, so bless you. You're in my prayers. Carolyn, happy birthday. God bless you. I hope you celebrate and raise some heck tonight and have some fun. Diane, thank you for everything that you do and your team, which is extraordinary. And Deb, it's a treat to work with you, not just on today's announcement, but the Greenway, which is going to connect 8 or 9 communities from Montclair to Jersey City, which will come to fruition over the course of this decade, is another example of where we've worked together. And deep thanks, again, to all the electeds and dignitaries here today, and most importantly, fire, police, DPW, first responders. Thank you so much for hosting us. Take care, everybody.